Whenever Christmas time comes around and you see lists of the best holiday movies, and even the most underrated ones, you'll almost certainly never find this 80s flick on any of them. It really hasn't managed to embed itself in Christmas pop culture like some other films have, to be sure. And it's a real shame because while this movie isn't high class theater, it's considered a favorite Yuletide watch for kids of the 80s and 90s like us. So meet us at Orlando Children's Museum with Santa's Magic Sack as Laramy Wells and I discuss Ernest Saves Christmas from 1988 on this episode of the 80s Flick Flashback Podcast. Welcome in, everybody, to the 80s Flick Flashback Podcast. I am your host, Tim Williams. To help us figure out who's going to take over the mantle of Santa Claus, I have a very qualified elf with me tonight. He's the man who brings the magic to the microphone every single week on Moving Panels Podcast. If anyone can land Santa's sleigh on a roof without magic dust, it's him. Welcome back, Laramy Wells. How you doing, Laramy?
Hey, let me tell you something, Vern. When it comes to Christmas, I come armed with enthusiasm, questionable judgment, and a whole lot of holiday spirit. Know what I mean?
Yes, exactly. And you know what? I do know what you mean. Of course, we're talking about Ernest Saves Christmas, probably one of the biggest pop culture icons of the 80s and 90s. Ernest P. Worrell, played by Jim Varney, and we're going to talk a little bit about how he originated. I remember seeing his commercials on TV. Do you remember seeing his commercials?
I honestly can't remember if I saw his commercials, because later when I look back at it, like most of his commercials were like local. And so I don't know how many of his commercials I actually saw or if it was after the fact. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Know what I mean?
Know what I mean?
I think we're going to say that a lot on this one. Yeah, I was thinking, I think I remember seeing the commercials or like somebody telling us about the commercials, like being like not in the Atlanta area or like in like a different market and seeing them on TV.
I have a Ernest, it's called the Essential Ernest, I think, DVD
like compilation
that has the commercials on it.
I remember seeing a VHS of that, before the movies really started. I think that made its rounds in the video stores, and it seemed like a good idea. But then you watch 2 hour or an hour of 30-second commercials. It gets a little redundant.
It gets a little dull.
All right, well, let's jump right in. When did you see Ernest Saves Christmas for the first time?
I am pretty 90% confident I saw this one in theaters.
Okay, yeah.
I know I didn't see Ernest Goes to Camp, the first one, in theaters. I saw it, when it came out on VHS. But I am pretty confident that I saw this one in theaters. Even when I was rewatching it to prepare for this, I have a memory of seeing this one in theaters. Now, whether it was I saw it when it actually debuted or if I saw it maybe as like a special thing a few years later, because I was 7 when this movie came out. So my memory might be a little skewed, but I'm pretty sure I saw this one in theater.
Yeah, I was racking my brain trying to remember. It's like, I think I saw it in theaters, but I don't remember. I don't have as vivid a memory of seeing it in the theaters. I remember, I have a vivid memory of seeing Ernest Goes to Jail, which I know was in the 90s.
I saw that one in theaters.
Yeah,
and I saw Ernest Scared Stupid in theaters.
Yeah. But I was like, Ernest Goes to Camp, I think I saw on cable. And this one, I think I might have seen it at the theater, but it was probably like a dollar theater. I don't think I went early to see it, but I, maybe if not,
that's what I'm saying. I'm
it,
pretty sure I saw it in theaters. Just whether I was seeing it when it debuted, that's the iffy.
Yeah. So how long has it been since you rewatched it before rewatching it for the podcast?
Last Christmas.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
No. I watched it this was my first time watching it for this season, but
Mhm,
I
mhm.
watched it last Christmas, so
Is it
this
one
was
that
my
you watch every year or try to watch every year?
try to. Yeah, I
Yeah.
can't say I'm always successful at finding time to watch it. It's not one that the rest of my family kinda go, "Oh, yeah, let's watch Ernest Saves Christmas." It's more of just a me thing. Um, they enjoy it, like, when I was watching it, to prepare for this, my daughter was watching it. My younger daughter, I don't think cared, but, uh but my older daughter sat there and watched it with me, so
Mhm.
but yeah, no, this is one I definitely try to fit into my Christmas viewing every year.
Yeah. Yeah, I think I just started rewatching it a couple of years ago. Like, I'm glad now it's on Disney Plus, so, like, it's more easily accessible because there's not a Blu-ray copy of this available, I
Uh,
think I was reading, and I think it's kinda hard to find on even on DVD probably,
I have it
so
on
of
DVD.
course, I knew that
Yeah.
already, I wasn't even gonna ask. But, I know I did watch it last year, and I think I watched it the year before that, um, when I think a couple of years ago, I started doing, like, you know 30-day like your Christmas watch list, one Christmas movie every day for the month of December or up till Christmas. I've added it, and so when I do that, I try to watch them. And so it had been a long time, but before that, it had been a long time since I'd seen it, like probably a good 20 or 30 years, because
Wow.
this was like 88, so I was like in sixth grade. So yeah, I was going into like middle school after this. So, but I still love like Winston. I saw Ernest Goes to Jail, so I was still a fan of Ernest. But I don't know if this was one that I might have had this one on VHS, but I just I don't remember it. It's not. I like it, but it's not at the top of my like top 10 or even
I'll give you
top
that, yeah.
five. Top five. Whoops, top five Christmas movies of the '80s that that I typically watch every year. But
Wow, just specifically of the '80s, not even
no, I would say like, well, yeah, because there's not that many. I mean, there's never mind. Off tangent. But yeah, of all the Christmas movies I watched, maybe it was like 80s and 90s because I think Home Alone kind of fits in that because it came out in 90. But yeah. Well, let's talk about Ernest. If you grew up in the 80s or 90s, you can probably hear the voice already. A rubber faced guy in a denim vest getting way too close to the camera and saying, "Know what I mean?" That was Ernest P. Worrell, the lovable but annoying neighbor played by the late great actor Jim Varney. What started as a local marketing gimmick became a pop culture phenomenon. Ernest was originally created by a Nashville ad agency in 1980 to sell everything from local amusement parks to Coca Cola and Taco John's. Never had a Taco John's. The formula was simple, cheap, and hilarious. Filmed with a handheld camera at a producer's house, these ads relied entirely on Varney's talent. Eventually, Ernest got too big for commercials because of exclusive contracts with local companies. He couldn't do national ads for competing brands, so the creators pivoted to Hollywood. This led to the Saturday morning show Hey Vern, It's Ernest, which won Varney a Daytime Emmy, and a franchise of 9 feature films. While critics generally hated the movies, they were made on shoestring budgets and made a fortune, proving that while Vern might have found Ernest annoying, the rest of the world loved him. So that's about him. And like I said, I remember seeing the commercials, uh, you know, saying "know what I mean" and like doing the impersonations, like with family. Like that was just, uh, yeah, that was just what we
yeah.
did. Very
Yeah, he
common in our
was
household.
yeah, trying to explain him to like my daughters.
Hmm.
I was like, he's kind of like he was Larry the Cable Guy before Larry the Cable Guy.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I could see
Like
that.
that was the best way. But no, it was the Hey Vern, It's Ernest
Hmm.
television show. That was
Yeah.
my introduction to it.
Hmm.
Um and then yeah, then found out about uh Ernest Goes to Camp and watched it. And then like I said, I'm pretty sure I saw the next 3 in theaters. I did not see what is it? Ernest Goes to School.
Yeah, yeah. There were some
That
that
one.
were direct to video.
Well, no, that one was released in theaters. It was Ernest Goes to the Army, Ernest Goes to Africa, and
Hmm.
Ernest Ride. Well, no, Ernest Rides Again may have been in theaters. Slam Dunk Ernest. That was the 3 that were released to video. So yeah, Ernest Rides Again and Ernest Goes to School were released in theaters. I think limited release, but they were still released in
Okay,
theaters. I didn't see
gotcha.
either one of them in theaters. Um, I just saw Goes to Jail, Saves Christmas. Pretty sure I saw Saves Christmas. I know I saw it in theaters. Let's go back to that. And then Scared Stupid. I saw all three of those in theaters. But yeah, huge Ernest fan. I always just wanted a tan baseball cap.
Yeah.
If I could have ever found a blue jean vest, I would
Exactly. Yeah, I was like the blue jean vest was like I was always looking for. So yeah, very very basic, but I mean, yeah, I mean think about brand like in today. I mean, I guess they had it back then. You had like pop culture, like Max Headroom was a commercial that became it crossed over into pop culture, had its own TV show. I mean, I was a huge Max Headroom fan. But like today, it would be like Ernest would be like Flo from the Progressive commercials. Like it's just a character that they created and like a brand gets behind. So, but yeah. So for this movie, the movie was originally based on a script by writer Ed Turner about Santa Claus retiring. Disney hired a director, Tom Eberhardt, to rewrite it into a heartwarming Christmas dramedy about Santa and adults. Eberhardt spent 3 weeks writing a script that Disney executives absolutely loved. But then the studio dropped a bomb. They said, "We love the script, but we're going to set it in Orlando and turn it into an Ernest movie." Eberhardt was so unhappy about his serious Christmas story being turned into a vehicle for the rubber-faced Jim Varney that he took his name off the movie and went uncredited. So, hey, you win some or you lose some. But the film does hold a special place in theme park history. It was the first major feature film shot almost entirely at the then unfinished Disney MGM Studios, which is now Hollywood Studios in Orlando. Vern's house, if it looks familiar to tourists, is because it was a set on the famous Studio Backlot tour, but was demolished in 2002. The horror movie scene, the scene where Ernest watches the scary movie Christmas Sleigh, was filmed at a local Fox affiliate station in Lake Mary because they already had a promo deal with Jim Varney. So, I mean, you use those connections. So, aside from the studio, the production crew turned the entire city of Orlando onto their set. If you know the city, you might spot these landmarks: Orlando International Airport, Lake Eola, and downtown, including Church Street Station and Orange Avenue, the Children's Museum, which was actually the original Orlando Science Center, now the Shakespeare Center, and then the toll booth was filmed on the Beeline Expressway, now the Beach Line. So we were going to have another co-host with us, but unfortunately he couldn't make it for this episode. But the movie was filmed 20 minutes from where he lives in Orlando. So here's Robby Retro with his memories of Ernest Saves Christmas.
Hello from Robby Retro, and thank you, Tim, for having me on the show. Ernest Saves Christmas is a very special movie to me. My dad took me to see Ernest Goes to Camp after church on a Sunday. It was the opening weekend. That was a big weekend in 1987, May. You had Beverly Hills Cop 2, Ernest Goes to Camp, both playing that weekend. And Ernest Goes to Camp, I still remember a packed theater and just loving it. So I was already a huge Ernest fan from Ernest Goes to Camp, and of course the commercials going into Ernest Saves Christmas. There was hype. I mean, I was excited for it when I saw the ads for Ernest Saves Christmas in 1988. I couldn't wait to see it. Matter of fact, it was my top movie to see that November, December 1988. I wanted to see it more than Scrooged because I had an option to go see Scrooged or Ernest Saves Christmas. I had to go see Ernest Saves Christmas, and that was a great time for movies as a kid in 1988, November, December. You had Land Before Time, and I think you had Oliver and Company. And of course, what the big one for me was Ernest Saves Christmas. I love the movie. I love it to this day. I love that the movie continues to just get loved more and more each year. It seems like the stock continues to go up each year. The following continues to get bigger and bigger for it. It was filmed in Orlando, and I'm from Central Florida, so I know all those locations very well. And I remember thinking, I got to go check out these filming locations. Several of my friends that are YouTubers have done it. Adam did a great video on all the Ernest Saves Christmas locations, so check that out. And a lot of them are still there today, except the Children's Museum is a little different now. But thanks for letting me talk about Ernest Saves Christmas. It's one of my favorite Christmas movies. And of course, I love Jim Varney. I love Ernest, and I love that the film continues to get bigger and bigger each year.
Anything from the pre-production that you want to talk about before we jump into casting?
No, I am somewhat familiar with a couple of the locations, but yeah, I wouldn't be as knowledgeable of any of the pre-production. It was an Ernest movie. That was all I cared about.
Yeah. And I think even at that point in my life, I don't think I'd even been to Orlando yet, so I wouldn't have, I mean, I knew where Orlando was; it was in Florida, but I didn't know that much about it. So yeah,
I've seen it on the map.
Yeah. It's on the water, right? Nope. All right, let's talk about the cast. Yeah. Of course, Jim Varney, we mentioned before. He also played Jed Clampett in the film adaptation of the Beverly Hillbillies in 1993. Also covered a song for the film titled Hot Rod Lincoln. He voiced Slinky Dog in the first 2 films of the Toy Story franchise. Fortunately, or sadly, he died of lung cancer on February 10th, 2000, leaving 2 posthumous releases, Daddy and Them, as well as Atlantis, The Lost Empire. But yeah, I was very sad when I heard he passed away. It was very, very sad.
Yeah, same. Again, you take him, Paul Reubens, Pee Wee Herman, honestly, Mr. T, and I mean those were my 3 like characters growing up as a kid that like they were real life quote unquote superheroes for me. So yeah, finding out that he had passed away, and then of course just a few years ago when Paul Reubens passed away, yeah, no, that definitely hit me. But yeah, loved the character and loved him. I mean, I really wish he did more.
Yeah.
Like, he's great in Beverly Hillbillies, and of course, as a voice actor, but I would have loved to have seen him do more. And the fact that to find out that he was like a trained like Shakespearean actor,
right.
I would have loved to have seen what else he could have done.
Yeah. I think what I love about, I kind of forget until I rewatch the movie, the different characters he plays, even in the movie, like the disguises and the different, and if you ever saw it, it was really weird. It was like Dr. Otto.
Yes.
That I remember renting that video many times. Yeah. With a hand on the head. Yeah. And being like, kind of like, I thought it was going to be like more like Ernest, but Ernest P. Worrell, but it wasn't. It was all these other different characters that he was playing. It was more of it was like a spoof of like science fiction stuff, but he played all these different characters. And so, but even in this one,
I'm pretty sure that's on Tubi. Like if you,
is it? Yeah. I think I have seen that on Tubi or like, Fandango at Home, the free movies they have on there.
Whichever one of those is where they have to cut to a commercial break randomly into a movie.
Yeah.
That's where you can watch it.
In the middle of a sentence. Yeah. Wherever it fits. But like seeing him play those other characters, I'm like, man, I would have loved to have seen him really break out and like some of these other characters like have their own, their own franchise as well. But I think Ernest was that's what they wanted him to be. Just, he was Ernest. So, but yeah, I would have loved to have seen him do more, but I was glad when the Beverly Hillbillies came out. And I would say he was kind of a draw of why I wanted to see the movie. Like, seeing a movie based on an old TV show that I loved, because we loved watching the reruns of the Beverly Hillbillies, but knowing he was playing Jed Clampett, I was like, that's smart. I can go for that.
God, Cloris Leachman and,
Dabney Coleman.
Diedrich Bader. Like that was, that was a great casted movie.
I got to find that one. It's hard to find now to stream.
I own it.
You own it. I know. All right, moving on. All right, so let's talk about Santa Claus himself, Douglas Seal. Seal provided the voice of Krebs the koala in The Rescuers Down Under in 1990, and 2 years later, he was the Sultan in Aladdin from 1992. He also appeared in several films, including Amadeus in 1984 and the 1986 Christmas film A Smoky Mountain Christmas. Seal had a small starring role also as Santa in Steven Spielberg's Amazing Stories. In 1987, he appeared in the Cheers episode, A House Is Not a Home, and in 1989 in the Family Ties episode, Get Me to the Living Room on Time. And actually in the Cheers episode, I think his wife in that episode is Bird, who
Billy
has a
Bird.
role in this as well. So
I always remember her from Police Academy.
yes, yes. We'll get to her in just a moment or two. But yeah, but Douglas Hill, like I didn't see that trivia about him being the voice of the Sultan in Aladdin until after I watched the movie.
I did know that, yeah.
And I was like, man, that was why his voice was like, it's like it. I was like, it's so familiar, and I was like, maybe because I've seen this movie so many times. But then when I read that, I was like, that's why I know that voice. So, but he was so good. I mean, we've covered Santa Claus the movie, and I think for those born in the '80s, that was our Santa Claus. But I would say he is a close second of like probably one of my favorite incarnations of Santa Claus from the '80s. You getting
from the '80s? I would agree with you.
Yeah.
I would say Tim Allen's
Tim Allen going to win the '90s hands down.
Tim Allen's going to win that for me of all time.
Of all time, yeah. I would
yeah, no, if you're just going with the '80s, he'll
Yeah.
be second place in the '80s. I'll give you that.
Yeah. And it's just a great role. I mean, he played it so well. We talked about the budget. The budget is small, but the acting is good. Like I didn't really have any like negative things to say about anybody. Some of it's a little over the top, but that's kind of what the movie is.
It works for what the movie is.
Yeah, yeah. But I think he was well cast to kind of be the straight man for everybody. Like everybody around him is a little outside the box, and the quote unquote fictional character of Santa Claus is the one that's the most human of everybody. So the most least cartoon like,
most grounded character.
Yeah, exactly. Then you've got Oliver Clark as Joe Carruthers. Clark made numerous appearances in film and television, particularly in the 70s. Two of his best-known TV characters were John Doe number 6 on the NBC drama series St. Elsewhere, a likable and humorous psychiatric patient. He was also Mr. Hurd, a patient of psychologist Bob Hartley on the Bob Newhart Show. He played Mr. Belding in the original pilot of the series Good Morning, Miss Bliss, but was subsequently replaced by Dennis Haskins. So, yep.
He was replaced by Mr. Belding.
the Mr. Belding. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, and I liked him as well. Like, I think his character was good. You kind of think early on that it's going to be handed over to Ernest, but I'm kind of glad that it's not. I'm glad that Ernest was more like the catalyst to make the right choice happen. And I was glad that, I kind of feel like if it had been remade or written a different way, they would have made him to be like, oh, he's this way in front of the kids and on TV, but he's more like his agent of like just in it for the money and
would
like
have found out that he was a bad guy.
Yeah. So I like that they kept him earnest.
I think the problem with doing that though is that then it would put fault on Santa Claus, on Nick.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's true.
Because he's coming there specifically for him. He's done his research.
Mm-hmm.
He pretty much says to him, "You are the one." Like there is nobody else. So if they had done that twist, it would have reflected bad on Santa Claus.
Yeah.
So
very true.
So I'm glad they didn't do that. But I also did not want it to be Ernest. Glad it's not. Ernest has to stay Ernest. Like he can't. Right. I mean, that would completely ruin any more Ernest movies because how do you do another Ernest movie if he just became Santa Claus?
Right.
In this one. Right. So any other character, they definitely would have done it though.
Right. All right. Then we got Noelle Parker. Noelle, nice Christmas name. That's because she was born on December 25th. So that was her actual birthday. So she also portrayed the title character in the 1992 TV movie Amy Fisher, My Story. She was also nominated for a daytime. Yeah, no, we're trying to change. Well, wait, we'll get there. She was also nominated for a daytime Emmy in 1993 for her performance on the CBS school break special Different Worlds, A Story of Interracial Love. So she liked being in the at that time, very controversial stories. John Cherry, the director who directed all of the Ernest movies, was also, I think, one of the directors of the commercials as well. He had to assign someone to keep 16-year-old Noelle Parker away from the adult male crew members as she was being a bit too, quote unquote, friendly with them.
No, thank you.
Right, exactly. I can see now why she didn't do a whole lot after this, besides her TV movie.
A little fitting that she played Amy Fisher then.
Yeah. All right, so moving along, I wasn't going to stay long on that one. Lard Sartain, I hope I'm saying that, as Chuck, known for his recurring role in the TV show Hee Haw. He also appeared in more than 40 motion pictures, most notably as the Big Bopper in the Buddy Holly story. For Ray Stuckey in Mississippi Burning. He was also in The Outsiders, The Hollywood Knights, Fried Green Tomatoes, The Replacements, one of my favorites, as offensive assistant coach Leo Pilichowski, The Big Easy, The Grifters, Getting Even with Dad, The Patriot, and an uncredited role in the 1994 comedy Wagon Z starring John Candy and Richard Lewis. So that's definitely that guy. I would not be able to say to pull his name out of a hat in a trivia night.
No.
Hopefully I said like Gaylord Sartain. So, but yeah, I remember him from Hee Haw. We were big Hee Haw watchers in my house.
I remember from the Ernest movies.
Yeah. So Bobby was played by Bill Burge, and this is pretty much all that Bill Burge did, but I have this kind of linked together with them. This is the first of only 2 Ernest movies to feature the Chuck and Bobby duo, the other being the next Ernest movie, Ernest Goes to Jail in 1990. Chuck and Bobby came from a series of regional commercials also titled Me and My Brother Bobby, which started in 1986 and was created by the same ad agency responsible for Ernest P. Worrell. The basic premise was Chuck and Bobby were twin brothers who didn't look anything alike. The shtick was Chuck would endorse a certain product and in some cases would incompetently perform a task in the process, while his twin brother Bobby would mostly just nod in agreement to whatever Chuck's general thoughts were on the subject. So it was kind of like the Penn and Teller, Jay and Silent Bob, where you got the silent character and the other one. So, but they are a fun addition to this movie. But they're a good side story to have. Like, I thought it was smart to have them as like the airport workers that get the reindeer and trying to read the label sideways with their heads side by side. V M V M. It's a V. It's an M.
M.
So, I enjoyed that. What are your thoughts on Chuck and Bobby?
I love them. Great. I mean, I would have loved to have seen them
get their own
kind
spin-off.
of break out and
yeah,
get their own thing or do their own thing. It's surprising to me that they were only in 2 together.
Yeah.
I guess it was a different guy because I know that Gaylord played the chef in Ernest Goes to Camp. And I thought that Bobby was there cooking with him, but I guess that was a different character.
Yeah.
When you said that, but yeah, no, love them. And of course his, famous thing with his eyes.
Yeah, the eyes, yeah. And the screeching sound, yeah.
Yeah, the like squealing pig. Yeah, he just passed away earlier this year.
Yeah. Yep.
But no, love them. Love that they kind of were just it was almost as if they were a part of the Ernest bundle. Like you knew if you got an Ernest movie, you would get them.
Right.
Which again is weird to say because even Gaylord, I think, is only in 3 of them.
Yeah. But I think they were on the TV show as well. I don't think I put that in the notes, but I think they were on the show, the TV show. So that's probably why
have been the case.
That's probably why you want to link them together even more so, probably more from the TV show than from the
I will tell you, I got to go back and watch The Patriot to find out who he was in The Patriot.
Yeah, that it didn't give me I remember or am I thinking of a different guy? Well, I got to think about which Patriot, because there's the Mel Gibson, the Patriot, and there's the Steven Seagal, the Patriot. So
that's true.
I didn't click to see which one it was. So
that's true. That may be why I don't, because I don't think I've ever seen the Steven Seagal one.
I know I haven't.
But no, I knew him from the others. Like I remembered him in Replacements. I remembered him in Fried Green Tomatoes. He's got actually a pretty big part, if I remember right, in Fried Green Tomatoes. So yeah,
very versatile. Great in comedy, but versatile.
Which is again what I would have liked to have seen. Jim Varney,
do a
little bit more, some more serious movies.
So we talked about Billy Bird earlier. We'll bring her back up as Mary Morrissey. Bird was often cast by director John Hughes and appeared in many of his 1980 and 1990s films, such as 16 Candles, Home Alone, and Dennis the Menace. The latter 2 of both paired her with veteran Hughes actor Bill Irwin playing her husband. She also starred as Mrs. Lois Feldman in Police Academy 4, as Larry mentioned. Her last film appearance was in 1995's Jury Duty, with Pauly Shore, which I just rewatched a couple months ago. Every once in a while, I just want to watch a Pauly Shore movie. Don't ask me why. Just it's like he was the Adam Sandler of my youth. So
yeah,
Encino Man,
Encino Man, Biodome is
Son-in-Law,
probably
Biodome. Yeah, Biodome's not at the
Son-in-Law.
top of my list, but
Yeah,
yeah,
Son-in-Law was good, but for some reason I never remember that one.
yeah. Son-in-Law is a Thanksgiving movie because that's when he went home with her for her Thanksgiving break. So
yeah. And then in the Army now, I can tell you I saw that one in theaters.
I saw Jury Duty in theaters. I saw Encino Man. I saw Son-in-Law in theaters. I didn't see Biodome in theaters. I don't think I saw In the Army Now in theaters, but yeah. So saw a couple of them. So Burt also made numerous appearances on various TV shows, including roles on Happy Days, Silver Spoons, Eight is Enough, The Facts of Life, Who's the Boss, and Knots Landing.
She's another one of those that when you see her, you just go, I know I've seen you in something. I'm just not sure what.
And when I saw her name, Billy Bird, I was like, I know that name, but I wouldn't, I don't know if I'd be able to put the face with the name before doing the research now, but yeah. One fun fact I had to put in here, she entertained troops in Vietnam with her own variety act, Flying High with Billy Bird. For her efforts, she was one of the few women to ever be made an honorary member of the Green Berets. So I think that was awesome. Had to put that in there.
No, if I just saw the name Billy Bird, I would have confused her with Brad Bird from Pixar.
Yeah.
That's
I could see that. And then the last one we'll mention here, and I'm sure you'll recognize immediately, Robert Lesser as Marty, best known for the opening scene in Bruce Willis's Die Hard, as Laramy is wearing the 80s Flick Flashback inspired original t-shirt. Die Hard is my favorite Christmas movie t-shirt, so thank you for supporting the podcast. So he was the guy on the plane with Bruce Willis that told him about making fists with your toes. He was also in The Big Easy, Oscar with Sylvester Stallone, Shoot to Kill with Sidney Poitier, The Presidio starring Sean Connery, and a Japanese film called Best Wishes for Tomorrow. So, but yeah,
he was in Die Hard.
He was in Die Hard. That's what that's what I knew him from.
Yeah.
So. All right. Anybody else from the cast?
Mr. Santos. I'm sorry, Mr. Santos.
Yeah.
His real name is Santos.
Santos. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, is that like when he parks the car and he throws his keys to the mailman? It's like,
yeah,
be sure to park in the shade for me, okay, sport or whatever he says. Like, so park it in the shade. All right. Anybody else in the cast that failed to mention or worth mentioning? I think I covered.
I think you covered the main
characters,
the main ones. I can't even think of anybody who had like a bit part that would be like, oh, hey, look, it was that guy, but I can't think of anybody. Like even the guy talking about this guy from Die Hard, even the gentleman that Santa Claus gets off the plane with. I was like, I don't know you. This is what I know you from. I don't know you from anything else.
The one that wished for snow in Orlando on Christmas. Yeah, good payoff scene though, for him to say it at the beginning, and then you see him on his work phone. I don't care what you have to do, make it work. And then looks out the window. It's snowing.
You know what? Merry Christmas. We had a little Christmas Carol moment right there. Scrooge realizing the meaning of yeah, because even the elves, like they weren't the more recognizable like little people that you used to see in the movies in the 80s and all. So I didn't really, I know the two of them from this. I don't know anything else they were.
They didn't have much of a filmography besides this, so it wasn't much to go into. All right, let's talk about iconic and favorite scenes. So if someone says to you, Ernest Saves Christmas, what's the first thing that pops in your head?
Air brakes.
Yeah, that was going to be mine. Yeah.
No, I remember
the little laugh.
I remember that from the trailer.
Yes. Yeah, exactly.
Like that was one of the things that hooked me. And then it's one of the reasons I remember seeing it in theaters, because I remember when that moment came and it is just Ernest, big screen Ernest, and he turns and looks at the camera. Air brakes.
Yeah.
And then that's it. That one. I mean, there's several others when you get me to actually, talking and thinking about it. I love the the character actor that is his passenger at the beginning, and he just freezes from
Yeah.
terror.
Yeah.
Like that's always one.
Mhm.
Yeah, so there's several that stick with me once I start thinking about it, but right off
Mhm.
the bat, it's air brakes.
Yeah. Air brakes was mine, so we both had the same iconic scene. All right, so let's jump into favorite scenes. We got some favorite scenes.
Yeah. So I just like the introduction to Ernest. It's oh Christmas tree, Christmas tree, oh Christmas tree.
Yeah.
And even when he gets the tree, and
Mhm.
he I love that he's backing up. I can't remember the exact words. He's like,
Mhm.
notice how I am using proper technique
Yeah.
to, smell those Christmas trees. You can keep your channel number 5. Just
Yeah,
give me
yeah.
a whiff of the old lonesome pine. I
Mhm.
love those moments. And you already talked about some of the characters, like when he plays the old woman.
Mhm. Yeah, she's one of my favorites. Yeah.
Yeah, does great with that. I love how he all of a sudden gets the girl involved in that very first one
Mhm.
when
Mhm.
she's the niece, and
Mhm.
they play off that so well. And
Mhm.
yeah, there's so many. I mean, when Santa's in prison and he gets all of them singing 12 Days of Christmas.
Yeah.
Like, and
Yeah.
you just see all the hands come
Hands
out
come
and
out. Yeah,
clap.
start
Like,
clap. Yeah.
it's yeah. There's so many.
Mhm.
There's so many. The animal control, and he points up and they look. Oh,
Yeah.
flying reindeer. That's not us. That's
Yeah, yeah.
you need air traffic control.
Right, right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I had, so yeah, all the scenes where he just, like, starts to wax poetic, I guess you would say. So where he just, like, has his own little, like, minor dog, but I had the one you started, I had written out, so, it was, smell those Christmas trees. You can keep your Chanel number 5. Just give me a whiff of the old lonesome pine, that symbol of brotherly love, that centerpiece that all mankind gathers around to share the cranberry sauce shaped like a can. It is just like, you
The
know
greatest cranberry sauce.
yeah.
Give me that
So I
berry
loved
crap.
cranberry sauce and have real cranberries, and it's gotta have the edges
No,
from the
this is
can.
yeah.
So, but yeah, so I loved all those moments. The other one is when he's destroying Vern's house. Like,
Yeah.
that just cracks me up. Like, he comes in with the tree, he leans the tree over, then it falls on him, and
That'll stay.
yeah, and then he's, like, pulling the power cord and, like, just
Mhm.
ripping up the wall, and he's like, "Oh, I know what I need, bolt cutters," and he leaves, and the chandelier just crashes on the table. That whole sequence, that was like I remember as a kid, like, that being, like, one of my like, I wanted to get to that part. That was the part that I looked forward to. Mm. But yeah, same, the characters he played, I loved it when he's the snake wrangler.
Yeah.
Uh, so,
You want one for your boy?
yeah.
I had a boy once.
Oh, man. So, yeah. So, and then when they come and bring the guy, "You think you're the snake guy?" "Oh, yeah," and they pour all the snakes in the back of the truck.
Yeah. Yeah,
Uh,
I'll count them later.
that was the line, yeah, "I'll count them
Yeah,
later."
I'll count them later.
Uh, oh, man. Okay. Oh, yeah, it's so good. Just go watch the movie if you haven't.
Yeah.
If you even if you watch it, go
Rock
watch it
of
again.
ages, a cleft for me. Let me hide myself in thee.
Mhm. Oh, man. We love you, Ernest. Okay, so let's jump into, like, some scenes and trivia, I guess. Think of some other scenes. Oh, man. In the first draft of the film, Ernest was going to take over the role of Santa. We talked about this earlier. Though director John Cherry liked the idea, Disney balked at it for good reason. Their exact words were, he would not mesh with the classic take of Santa. Hence, Disney had them rewrite the story to have Ernest helping Santa find the next guy in succession. So, um, once again, I think that's kind of one of those easy plots that you just think, oh, well, he's going to take over the role, but adding that extra part, I think, is better. The main film executive to whom Joe complains to about the violence in the language bears a suspicious, striking similarity to Jeffrey Katzenberg, the head of Disney, with whom director John Cherry clashed with often.
That might be a stretch. I think I can see it, but I mean, just because he's a skinny guy, kind of balding with
Yeah,
glasses, I don't know if that was intentional though.
yeah. Uh, this was funny. The reindeer in the film were flown from northern Ontario, Canada, to the film's production in Orlando. During filming, production ran into trouble when the reindeers first day on the set. The 95-degree heat, their antlers began to shed, literally falling off, exposing bloody nubs. Reindeer makeup was called in, prop antlers were considered, but the reindeer weren't having it. Ultimately, the reindeer scenes were rescheduled and reshot in Nashville, Tennessee 2 months later, which I'm sure was much cooler in Nashville than good old 90-degree humidity of Orlando. Yeah. So after the first test screening in Burbank, when director John Cherry saw Michael Eisner and Jeffrey Katzenberg, they called him over to a nearby Denny's to talk, and he thought they're going to use the hammer, which meant canceling his contract. It turned out they did not. They did want to change the contract, but from a 3-picture deal to a 6-picture deal.
Good for him.
So they got what they liked. When Jim Varney was asked why this movie received a PG rating instead of G, he jokingly replied, "Unusual cruelty to reindeer."
I don't know. There's a lot that crosses, like it feels like there's a fine line between G and PG. Never quite can put like there's clear like rules as to what makes it PG-13 versus R.
Right. But everything else below that is kind of
it's kind of like what exactly gives it the P, what was it in the movie that made it get the PG rating?
Yeah, because I think this was before they started adding the things underneath the rating to tell you why it got the rating. I think they came out like maybe mid-90s, early 90s,
mid to late 90s. I would say.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah. So, yeah, I think because there's really no profanity in the movie at all, so a lot of times you'd think no profanity basically makes it G, but there's been a couple of G movies I've seen that have 1 or 2 words in them, and I've heard some PG movies that had almost as much language as a PG-13. Like you said, it's kind of hard to differentiate, once you get down there. All right, last little bit of trivia here. In February 1991, David English pitched another Christmas-related Ernest film. The plot would follow Ernest being called by his friend to temporarily take his place as a janitor at a famous apartment store in Greenwich Village, New York City, becoming a fish-out-of-water story of Ernest trying to survive the big city with bums, taxi drivers, and angry people. However, he's first mistaken for a world-renowned window decorator who was also hired on the same day. He decorates them with items that reflect the song The 12 Days of Christmas, but he mistakes what they are, and by accident, he becomes a New York celebrity with unique and recreated windows in Greenwich Village. John Cherry, the director, rejected it in favor of already working on a different holiday movie, Ernest Scared Stupid, that came out at the same time.
Yeah, I don't know about that one.
Yeah.
I just don't really see that as how that would be an Ernest movie.
Yeah, it's like it doesn't feel Christmas enough, even though it's 12 Days of Christmas and the window decorations, which obviously is a big plot point in the 80s because we just covered Mannequin last month. So, going to Halloween was a better plan. Different holiday.
Ernest Scared Stupid is kind of dark. Like that one gets kind of creepy.
I haven't seen that one in a long time. I have to go back and watch it. Add that to my Halloween list. All right, anything else?
So I have a question. Does it bother you that when he is saying all the reindeer's name,
that he can't say them right?
Well, it's not just that. It's the fact that he never remembers Blitzen, which is the last one he needs. But do you have a problem with him saying Donder? Like, how does it work that he says Donder?
Right.
It's not. I've always both liked and been very confused by that scene because he's trying to get them, and then it's on Dasher, on Dancer, and you see the names lighting up on the dashboard. Which brings me to 2 problems. One is, how does he not know it's Blitzen? It would be the only one on there he hasn't said.
Right.
But 2, the lights start going out. And so I'm like, does he have to re-say the names? But he doesn't. He just says Blitzen and we're good. And I'm putting a lot of trying to put a lot of logic into an Ernest movie. But anyone who listens to my show knows that you got to have your own logic and it has to make sense.
Right. Yeah, the whole sleigh scene gets a little out. Where it kind of like teeters on the a little too far on the outrageousness, like when it's like circling the earth super fast. I'm like, okay,
Yeah.
we're just,
No,
I know
that's
now
fine.
it's just like a
Superman
human
did it.
cartoon at
It's
this
fine.
point. Yeah. It's just a human cartoon at this point. Um, but yeah, I will say I do like, kind of giving what I liked about the movie being a low budget, especially now as I've gotten older and kind of looking at the tricks they use to make things work without spending a lot of money, like camera angles and shots of like you see like stuff happens off camera, but your imagination knows what's happened, so they don't have to
Yeah.
show it to you, which I thought
Like
was
the
just really
reindeer
smart.
flying up.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. Or even when he lands when he's landing and it's spraying the snow on Santa and everybody's standing there, but you don't actually see him. Like you hear the brakes but you don't see it. So it's like those little things that just kind of like they were very smart with the money, like a limited budget, but still make it entertaining and still tell the story. I thought those choices were pretty smart for putting the movie together.
Oh, absolutely.
All right, let's talk about box office. Ernest Saves Christmas opened on my birthday, November 11th, 1988. Well, I wasn't born in 88, but my day of my birthday. In American theaters, in its opening weekend, it placed second at the box office behind Child's Play and grossed $5.7 million. Its domestic total was $28.2 million, making it the highest grossing Ernest film. The Land Before Time, Scrooge, The Naked Gun, Twins, and Rain Man all debuted in the following weeks, pushing Ernest out of the theater prematurely. So it was a tough fall going into Christmas of 88. All right, it's time for the rewatchability nostalgia meter. Time to take a look at how well this 80s flick holds up today. It's our way of measuring how enjoyable a movie is for repeat viewings, along with the waves of nostalgia it brings. Here's how it works. It's a 1 to 10 scale. Laramy knows it well. Any number between 1 and 10 will do. Here are a few parameters for those that don't know to help you decide. At the bottom of the meter at number 1, I saw it once, and that was enough. In the middle of the meter at a 5, it's a good rewatch every couple of years or so. And the highly coveted at the top, number 10, highly rewatchable and full of nostalgia. So, Laramy, where does Ernest Saves Christmas land on the rewatchability and nostalgia meter for you?
I think I'm gonna have to go with a 9 for me.
Okay. Yeah.
I mean, it's one of those. Like I said, I try to watch it every year. It is 100% nostalgia for me. It's a 10 just in nostalgia.
Right.
But it's one of the. It is one. I think what loses the perfect 10 for me is the fact that if I don't get to watch it in the Christmas season, I don't feel like I've missed out. And I think that's the one thing. But I honestly, the rewatchability I think is great because there's not much in this movie that you would even place it in 1988.
Yeah, it does kind of hold up really well time wise.
Yeah,
It's
I mean,
not
obviously,
dated very much. Yeah.
Yeah, obviously, there's things you can look into and realize that it's an 80s movie or even early 90s. Because obviously no one's got any cell phones, and there's just some things where you're like, that would work different if it was in today. But I honestly think it kind of keeps a timeless kind of set to it. There's nothing that just screams out other than maybe some clothing, especially his agent.
Yeah.
His agent's probably the most 80s thing in that movie.
I don't know. What's her name? Is Holly? What's the girl's name? Shoot. It's no one. Harmony.
The actress, Harmony.
Harmony.
Yeah.
Like some of her outfits, I'm like, okay, she's homeless, but she's dressed like in these like very vibrant, very
That's
80s,
true.
somewhat, not high dollar, but like just very more stylish teen clothes.
Yeah.
But
she's got that side ponytail.
Yeah, the side ponytail too. Yeah, that gets.
But I still think it keeps it pretty. Obviously it was made in the 80s, so it's going to have some of that. But I think overall, like, you could watch it today, and if you're not really focused on that, it doesn't feel like an 80s movie.
Right. The humor doesn't rely on pop culture in the sense of like you had to know what was happening in that time to get the jokes. It's very the comedy keeps it kind of timeless.
Other than maybe not knowing he's doing a John Wayne impersonation.
Yeah.
I don't know why the "keep your nose clean, little lady" has always stuck in my head.
It's a good line. Yeah, for me, it's not quite a 9 for me. I'm going to give it an 8 because I do think I think it's got good nostalgia. Once again, it's not one. I was a huge Ernest fan, so that's why it's high. But it's not one of, like, I think of Ernest Goes to Camp. I think of the commercials. I think more than this one. And even I think when I first started the podcast, like, I thought this movie came out in the 90s. I forgot it even came out in the 80s. And it might have been because, if I didn't see it in the theater and I saw it on cable, it was probably in the 90s by the time, or when I was rewatching it over and over again, is when I saw it then. So, but I'm like you, like, if I don't see it every Christmas, I'm not that upset about it. There's other Christmas movies that I have to watch every year, but I think it is a good rewatch every other year. I
Yeah,
think
I can
if
see
I don't
that.
get to it every year, so it's going to land at an 8 for me. So, which I think still ranks pretty high.
Yeah, and it's respectable. Yeah, again, I debated an 8 too, because another thing is, it is a great Christmas movie, but I think it's lacking just something that gives you that Christmas
Mm-hmm.
feel.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah.
Like, it doesn't quite give you that
Mm-hmm.
that Christmas feel that you get out of watching, Arthur Christmas. I know that's one that
Mm-hmm.
every time I watch it, I feel Christmas.
Yeah.
Even Scrooged,
Yeah. Yeah.
Scrooged gives me that Christmas feel. This one,
Mm-hmm.
this one kind of lacks that a little bit. So, yeah,
Yeah,
which is again,
that's a good point. That's a
yeah,
good point. Yeah, I would agree. I agree with that because, like you said, I think you're right. Like, there's other movies, the ones that I have to watch every year give me that
yes,
feeling, and
yes,
this one, even though it's fun and I enjoy it, it doesn't give that. So it's give me get by the fireplace with a cup of cocoa and just with all the
yeah,
lights turned off except for the Christmas lights.
Christmas tree, yeah.
Yeah, Christmas tree lights. So yeah, exactly. Awesome. Well, let us know where you think Ernest Saves Christmas should rank on the rewatchability nostalgia meter. You can send us an email, tell us on social media, or you can leave us a comment right here on the comment section if you're watching this episode on YouTube. Well, Laramy, I want to thank you for joining. Always a pleasure to have you on the show, my friend. And once again, thanks for sporting my Die Hard was my favorite Christmas movie shirt. What's going on at Moving Panels Podcast for Christmas season?
So for Christmas, we are covering a not an 80s movie, but just outside of the 80s. We are actually going to talk about Batman Returns.
Yeah,
because that 100% is a Christmas movie, just
because
like Die
nothing
Hard.
because nothing says Christmas like the penguin biting a guy's nose. Yes, and
Yeah,
watching blood
absolutely,
spurt everywhere. So, yeah,
absolutely. And then we're for a one-shot episode the week of Christmas. We are going, me and my wife Bethany and co-host Jerry D from Totally Rad Christmas.
mm-hmm.
We got together and we are casting a Christmas Carol, but using comic book characters.
Oh, nice.
So
That'll be a fun one.
yeah,
Very cool.
so fun little one shot to listen to as you're wrapping presents or making the drive to a family's house for Christmas.
Mm-hmm.
Check those out.
Or sitting in traffic while you're trying to do Christmas shopping while it's dark outside at 5:30. You feel like it's at 9 o'clock at night.
Man, this year it has been rough with the time.
It seems like it's hitting harder this year for me too. Like literally today, we were doing some stuff and I was like, it's got to be like 8 o'clock. And I looked at it like 5:45. I was like, you've got to be kidding me. But it's all right. We get to see the more Christmas lights. The Christmas lights are on longer, so
There you go.
it pans out, evens out.
Which means your power bill is going to be more later.
We don't talk about that. That doesn't count in December. So we worry about that in January. When we're not eating any food because we're trying to lose weight. So it all balances out. So all right, well, if you enjoyed this episode, please leave us a 5-star review on Apple Podcasts. Be sure to follow or subscribe so you never miss an episode. We'd love for you to support the show by becoming a partner on buymeacoffee.com. Jump online and visit the website 80sflickflashback.com and our TeePublic store for some awesome 80s Flick Flashback merch and original designs. I just dropped some brand new Christmas designs, so be sure to check those out. I actually got a new Die Hard design, so Laramy, check that out. Thanks again for tuning in. Thank you, Laramy, for being with us. I'm Tim Williams for the 80s Flick Flashback podcast. Merry Christmas to all, and to all a good night. Know what I mean?
Know what I mean?